Hello, Infiniteers. I am back from my long break, and I'd like to welcome you to Monstropolis, the home of Mike and Sully from the movie Monsters, Inc. I have had a lot of requests over the years to build the scare floor from the movie Monsters, Inc., which I always thought would be an interesting challenge because we don't have very many building pieces for that setting. But I was never sure what I would do with this toy box once I finished it. I don't want to just keep making the same kinds of quests and missions as other toy boxes. I always want to try to do something unique and original in each toy box, preferably something that's never been done before. And this toy box always stumped me. But then I was talking to Poppa-H, and he shared with me his idea for a scare challenge, which I thought was a very original idea, and it's the perfect game for this toy box. And then the toy box kind of grew from there. I built more of the factory interior, and then I built the city so that I could use Mike's car, and before I knew it, I had a whole world, and here we are. Now, this world consists of two toy boxes, the city and the factory interior. And the story for this toy box, what little story there is that some employees from Fearco, one of Monster Inc.'s competitors, disguised themselves as Monsters University students, infiltrated the Monsters Inc. factory during a field trip, kidnapped a bunch of children, and turned them loose on the city in an attempt to ruin the reputation of Monsters Inc. and put them out of business. And so that's what's going on in this toy box. Now we have a couple of buttons here that will generate Mike's car and take it out of the toy box. And I would prefer to use Mike's car as we get around the toy box, but we're going to be picking up some townspeople, some kids, and you can't carry townspeople and drive a car at the same time, so we're going to need a mount. And for that, I've chosen to use Odin's horse. I don't get to use him very often, and he's just a really neat horse, and the fact that he's got 8 legs really makes him look like he fits in the Monsters University setting, and so we're going to use him. So let's start off by heading over here towards the factory, and we go past the starting line for the race here. I'm not going to race today, but I'll show you that in a future video. And the factory is right at the end of this road. I tried to design the roads in such a way that they'll take you to the places where you need to go. And as we come in here, we see there's a radar marker. You can see that on the lower left corner on the radar screen. And when we get here, we find the CDA is already here. That's not good. Of course, the original designs for the Child Detection Agency people were scrapped, but we've got this little character from The Force Awakens who looks pretty close, and so we're going to go ahead and use them for our CDA agents.
I should probably be studying, but this is too much fun!
But one of the CDA agents is over here, and he wants to talk to us, and he says, "I need your help." And you'll notice now we have 3 new radar markers in the lower left corner. Those are some kids that have gotten loose in the city, and they want my help and players' help in rounding them up. So let's start off. Looks like there's one over this direction. And up here at the top of the hill, we have the City Hall for Monstropolis. It's one of the Monsters University buildings. And I don't see him right away, but it looks like he's over in this area. Oh, we got some enemies. Let's see, I'm going to need a weapon here. Let's do a swap. And we'll use the toy box blaster. Oops. That might help if I use the right button. using the aim button instead of the shooting button.
Mike Wazowski and gets away with it. At least not for long.
All right. Let's see, that radar marker looks like it's around here somewhere. Oh, I must have shot somebody up here.
I feel even better now.
Ooh, and I leveled up. Nice. Oh, there's the kid. Okay. So this is the first kid that we need to rescue. And this is why we have the mount, so that we can hop on while we're carrying the kid. I really wish you could do that when you're driving a car, but that's all right. From here we can get another look at the factory. I had a lot of fun building that factory exterior. All right, there's the first one. Now, it looks like the other two are down in this direction. And as we ride along, you can get kind of a better look at the city. I really like how that overpass turned out. It's pretty neat with the trees and the neighborhood here around it. Uh-oh, got some enemies. Want to make sure I get my sparks. Ah, you didn't dodge and weave, Mike. Gotta dodge and weave so they don't get you. Alright, looks like there's one down over here and one to the left there. Oh, looks like they're up on the roof. I just caught a glimpse of them. Candace. They're even kidnapping teenagers. I didn't know teenagers were scared of monsters. But apparently they get some good screams from her. I really like how that looks. It's pretty cool. Oops. Might have better luck if I actually put her in the pen. Alright, let's go over this way. We'll get a little bit of a look at the city from over here. Try to give you as much of a look as I can. When we finish with this little quest, I'll go into Spark mode and give you an overview of the city. I think that might be kind of nice. Alright, I think the last one might be on top of this building here, because they were off to the left of us when we were over there. There's a number of ways to get up on top of the buildings, and you can get up on top of most of the buildings. There's drain pipes that get you up over here. There's some drain pipes that get you up over there. And the kids are randomly generated in different places every time you play this. So they're never going to be in the same place twice, which makes it very replayable. Oh, looks like we got some enemies down that way. Let's go take them out first. Okay, dodge and weave, Mike. There we go. Pick up my health. So those Fearco employees are waiting to ambush you all throughout the city because they don't want you rescuing those children. Alright, where'd that kid go to? Speaking of kids. Alright, off we go. I really like how this toy box turned out. I don't normally get to use a lot of these textures like the road and the autumn trees, and I had a lot of fun building this. Alrighty. So that's the main mission in the exterior toy box. Let me go into Spark mode here and just give you a quick little overview of what the city looks like. It's a pretty big toy box, much bigger than I had originally envisioned it being. But you can see the road kind of winds all throughout the city. And we got Mike's neighborhood over here. We've got City Hall up here. And then we got the factory out over this way. So it's a pretty good sized city. But between the mission here to collect the kids and the race, I don't have much memory left to do much of anything else on my Wii U. However, if you want some additional activities in here, the paintball game from my Player Battles mini-series would fit right over in this area. That would be a fun game to do because it uses the Monsters, Inc. paintball characters. Or you could put it in the city streets if you wanted, or up by City Hall. I think that would be a good addition to this toy box. So I would recommend that. So that's the city portion of the toy box. Now let's head inside the factory and take a look at the area that many of you are waiting impatiently to see. Okay, here we are in the factory interior, and I switched to Sully for this part of the toy box playthrough. I recreated as much of the factory as I could with the limited memory that is available, but I was not able to recreate the lobby or the locker rooms. I had to save enough memory to create all the different bedrooms that I needed for the scare challenge, but I do have this little opening hallway here, which leads into this area. And this would be where Roz's office is, and this is about the best I could do for that section, so not overly happy with that, but it works. And then we come into the scare floor. And I think this turned out really cool. We have a couple of mission givers here, so let me just kind of avoid them for the moment. And we'll head down the back side of the scare floor here. But here we are in the scare floor. And I think this turned out very, very well. The shape of it is right with the doors and the computers, canisters and things. So I like this a lot.
Hey, Art.
But we have two missions here. And let's avoid Art. We'll go talk to this guy first. He says, "Can I ask you a favor?" And our first mission, you'll notice there are some radar markers over this way. We're going to come into this door down here. And we come into this little storage area. We have some security robots that are wandering around. And they have a blue ring around them. If you enter the ring around them, they will detect you. And let's just see what happens. They kick you out. So you want to make sure they don't detect you. You have to avoid them. But I thought this would be a really neat little stealth game, and I got the idea from this, from the 2001 Monsters, Inc. game that was available for the PlayStation 2 and the Game Boy Advance. So as long as you don't get in that little blue area, you'll be fine. And we're looking for the scare canisters. We have to collect those in order to be able to do our job on the scare floor. So there was one back there, there's one up here. You can make your way across the tops here and avoid the robots down below altogether. Or you can brave the floor and try to use the little cubby holes over there in the side to avoid them. Oops. Wait for this guy to turn around. So I thought this would be really neat. This area was not in the original movie, but as I said, that computer game had it, and I thought it was a neat challenge. Something a little different than I've done in other toy boxes. So I thought I would do that and show you how you might make a little stealth game in Disney Infinity. And there we go. So now we can leave this area, and we're all done in there. Okay, the other mission that's available in this toy box, and then we'll do the scare challenge. We come and talk to Art. He says, I need your help. And now we have some radar markers over that direction. And that's back over in the door storage area. So to get there, we're going to have to get up on the catwalks here, above the scare floor. And we're going to ride the rail where the doors would be delivered. And this is going to take us back into the factory interior. And I really like how this turned out. This looks a lot like the movie to me. There we go. All right, there's one of the kids. Thanks for saving me. All right, we'll send him home. Okay, so we got some more kids around. Looks like there's one up above us. And there's some over that way. So in order to get to everywhere we need to go, there's a number of ways to do it. One way is the rail slide maze. So we can hop over here, and then you can kind of see the rail slide maze goes in a number of different directions. So let's just hop over this direction. Whoa! Getting there can be a bit of a challenge. Let's try this again. Got to take that other fork there. No. It's a little tricky. I'm not being too fast here. Well, there's another way to do that, and that is to take the elevators up. So if you have trouble with the rail slide maze, that's not your only way to get to these other places in here. Alrighty, let's see, there's a kid. We'll go ahead and send her home. Excuse me. And then we can take the elevator up to the next floor. Looks like we got a couple of enemies waiting for us up here. Surprise! I should have scared him. That would have been even funnier. I should have snuck up behind him and done this. There we are. Okay, the next kid is up there. So to get there, we're going to have to take this little rail slide over here. When we push the button, that'll rotate that area, and then we can ride back, and this should take us up top. Oh! I think he's done. Okay, and then back up to this floor up here. That gets us to the door. Alright, we got one more kid over that way. Now to get to that one, we do need the rail slide maze. I just missed the elevator. But there's a fork here, and then there's a switch, and we need to change that switch so it goes the other way. You'll see what I mean when we get up a little bit higher here. The switch that controls that is up here. And again, these kids are randomly generated at different locations, so they'll be in a different spot every time you play this. So sometimes you'll need to get up to this central tower, other times you won't. So if you notice, there's a little switch down there. You can see it moved to the path on the right. Now it moved to the path on the left. Hopefully you can see that. Alright, but it's all key on making this transition here. Oh, I was pushing the button, but I went the wrong way. This one you do have to take the rail slide to get up there. There is no other way to get up there. Alright, one more time. If that doesn't work, I'll fast forward and try to get over there. Oh man, I was pushing that way. I'm going to do one more try. I have to show you this is possible or you won't believe me. There we go. Okay, so now we get up through this way. And now we're up here on the central tower. There's the kid. It's Ferb. And we send him home. And there we go. And with that, both missions are done. And now we'll get to the scare challenge, which is the part that I'm sure a number of you are waiting to see from what you saw in the trailer. But I wanted to do these first to get the mission givers out of the way so they're not in the way for the challenge. Alright, so we hop down here. Here is the challenge maker. Step on that and we'll do start challenge. And here we go. And again, this was Poppa-H's idea, so I want to make sure I give him credit. But the idea for this really closely matches the competition we see between Sully and Randall in the Monsters, Inc. movie, where they're trying to get the most screams. And so each player is going to get 2 doors. Player 1 gets those 2 doors. Player 2, if there's a player 2, would get those 2 doors, and the one down on the end we aren't really using. I would have liked to have had 3 doors for each player, but I just didn't have the memory for 3 different bedrooms for each player for 6 different bedrooms. But we go forward and we find ourselves in the first bedroom. And you have 2 options here. The first option is you can approach the bed and scare the child, and that will give you guaranteed points. All right, so you're going to get anywhere from 2 to 5 points for scaring the child, and again, that's guaranteed. The other option is you can approach the collectible over here and try to make the child laugh, and that has the risk of backfiring, because if the joke doesn't work, you don't get any points, and it's randomly determined whether the joke works or not. So if you pick up the collectible, it'll do one of several things based on the action enforcer to try to make the kid laugh. But for the first one, let's go ahead and approach the bed. And when we do, we have the rail slide target turn on. And that is important because the ranged attack for the Monsters, Inc. characters, for Mike, Sully, and Randy, the ranged attack doesn't go very far. So you have to be close enough to the rail slide target for it to work. So it doesn't turn on until you approach the bed. But when you get close enough, it's on, and now we can do our scare. And the child wakes up, and they faint. And so you'll notice on the scoreboard on the top, we got 4 points for that. You'll also notice the collectible disappeared. So you only get to do 1. You can scare, or you can do the laugh attempt. You don't get to do both. All right, so that's the first bedroom. So now we'll head out, and we're back on the scare floor. And now we'll go to our next door. And this one takes us in here. And for this one, let's do the laugh attempt here. Okay, so he got covered in paint, or goop, or slime, or whatever you want to call it, and he made the kid laugh. And you'll notice we got 6 points for that, so we now have a total of 10 points.
Told you it'd be a slam dunk.
So sometimes if you try the joke and it doesn't work, you actually make the kid cry, and then you don't get any points. So there's a little bit of strategy in the fact that you can attempt to go for the guaranteed points, or you can try to kick your score up higher. You get a lot more points for making them laugh. You get anywhere from 5 to 9 points for a successful laugh. But that's my scare floor, and that's my Monsters, Inc. toy box. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, please hit the like button and let me know what you think of it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Next time, I'll start showing you how to build the city portion of this toy box. So if you want to build this on your own system, or if you like my toy boxes and want to see what I do in the future, be sure to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my blog. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.